It's hard to believe, Chip Patterson, that you and I, CBSSports.com Cover 3 podcast moderator, I listened for the first time live the other day. Gosh, It's good. I told you, I'm mute. Normally, you guys are on live. I'm a little bit busy. But I wasn't here Monday, and I listened Monday, and it was awesome. I loved every second of it. So, but it's hard to believe that you and I have talked now however many weeks in a row, and I started honestly annoying you about the college football playoff, like in week 3. And it's the third topic on our list today. So we have the field. I've got Lane Kiffin and Jimbo Fisher whining about it, but it's the third topic on my list today. So let's start with Bill Belichick.
Yep.
And I talked to Steve Logan about this yesterday. Is the college game, and I believe it is the college game so drastically different where this arrangement kind of makes sense?
I think could work. I don't know. I can't say kind of makes sense.
Okay.
Because it could, how about this? It could work if the University of North Carolina makes unprecedented financial investments in its football spending.
Right.
It could work if the University of North Carolina raises enough money so that its name, image, and likeness, which, by the way, isn't going away. Like, there might be revenue sharing, but then there will still be NIL on top of that. It makes sense if you are able to approve and allow for the kinds of staffing that allows for Bill Belichick to be the same football coach who can scout an opponent, find the weakness, create a new game plan that can help expose those weaknesses. It can work because Bill Belichick spent a lot of time with his son around Washington, where he got to see high-level power I know Washington's barely a bowl team, but high-level power conference athletes be able to undergo coaching from Jed Fish, who, by the way, is a little bit more of an NFL-style college coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it could work. I don't think it makes sense, though.
Okay.
I don't think it makes sense in the sense that how long is Bill Belichick going to be there? I don't think it makes sense in terms of the total trust, if there is a succession plan, that Steve Belichick has got the goods to be able to lead you into the future.
Right.
And I don't think that it makes sense, because if you get all this financial investment and you don't get the results that you want, what do you do then? What is the long-standing? I mean, is this a cheap high? Is this just simple? Is this sugar? Is this candy that's going to make you feel good about yourself for a little bit, and then you look back in 5 years and you wonder, what was it all worth? Is this going to be a weekend in Vegas? You know what? Actually, this is a weekend in Vegas, because what could happen? You could hit it big.
Yes, you could.
It could work out, or you could be broke and have a hangover. Okay, and so
you get punched by Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, even if this is where you're at and you're making that decision, then sure, I'm not in the position to make that decision. I'm not a donor. I'm not a booster. I'm not a board member. I'm not a member of the athletic department. So could it work? Yes. I see how it can work. You get one whole staff that is all about procuring talent and building out the roster. You get another whole staff that's all about coaching them up. And together, you would be able to very quickly, if that all works out, jump to the conversation where, you are going to enter every year in the ACC among the contenders. But you know who else was among contenders? SMU, Louisville.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, I don't know if the investment is as much of a level up guaranteed based on what's going to be happening. So look, yes, it can work. I see the vision. I cannot agree that it makes sense.
All right. Because I think there are a lot of different avenues we can explore here. So this has nothing to do with North Carolina. It has everything to do with college football in general. How many schools, I could use the University of Miami as an example. How many schools don't get the most? North Carolina don't get the most out of their talent because the game plans are poor, or the in-game management is poor, or they leave too many plays on the field. There's lack of attention to detail. How many schools do you think don't maximize their ability in terms of wins and losses?
More than you would think.
Yeah. You're not going to overinflate that number in my eyes, because I think it's a lot.
Texas A&M, you could go through and you could just basically start looking at all of these programs that recruit at a very high level and then fail to turn that into results. I would argue that the University of Florida has been in that position a lot recently. I think that you could look at, Texas A&M, Florida. If we were going to take this thing to the Big Ten, Michigan's never really recruited like at a huge top level.
And you could say Ohio State this year.
Thank you. I was just about to say, you could argue that Ohio State, based on the investment that they make, the Texas Longhorns, based on the investment that they make and the way that they recruit, have underperformed. So
LSU. So
LSU has a couple. LSU is a little bit more of the casino, right? Boom or bust. We're either winning the national championship with the best team ever, or we're going out in flames, hitting on a board member's wife allegedly at a gas station.
They are betting on hard on a hard 8.
Hard 12. Yeah, hard 8.
A lot. They're splitting 7s or something like that. That's what LSU does. Chip Patterson is joining us here. So that would be an argument to say that Bill Belichick could certainly be a benefit to North Carolina. Here's the thing because the way I've processed this, I've had over the last couple of days thinking about how could this work. And that manifesto that was leaked by, I think it might have been Pete Tham. I don't remember who exactly leaked the story about a 400-page manifesto with a separate staff for coaching, a separate staff for recruiting, which would certainly eliminate Bill Belichick having to recruit, which he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to sit on anybody's couch. But I think we have to stop thinking about this in terms of. Is this a good college coach? The way he described it on McAfee's show was in some ways brilliant in that, look, we are going to be a training program for the National Football League, because that's not the job of any college coach. It might be, in some ways, it might be an added benefit from going to Alabama or to Georgia or Ohio State or Penn State or Michigan. But primarily it's because they just have the best athletes, the best prospects. But the training, almost none of these players are prepared to play NFL football when they get there. There's a huge learning curve. And if Belichick can devise a program that kind of shortens that learning curve, levels that off, that's such an incredible advantage if he is able to tap into something like that. And we won't know until a couple of years down the road anyway. But if he is able to do something like that, then that's a new model, since we all agree that this is going to look a whole lot closer to what professional football looks like than college, right?
Well, I mean, this is where I've got to go locals only, to which I say at what cost? Because North Carolina has to get out of the ACC if they're going to actually do that. I mean,
they're trying.
I mean, I don't see, because the way that I understand it, the recommendations / demands / plans, like, have you ever heard somebody talk about the polo shirts? Like, you look at a program photo or a team photo at the beginning of the season, and you know what you'll find at Alabama and at Florida and at a lot of these places? Armies of polo shirts. And those polo shirts are paid positions.
Right.
And the $1 million meal table and like all the different ways that you approach strength training and nutrition and just that is something that doesn't exist right now where North Carolina is in terms of spending,
right,
in terms of investment in football. And so where's that money? Where is that extra influx coming from? And it may be that the lure of Bill Belichick, the promise of Bill Belichick, has led to some people to step up and to make some big time commitments to be able to drive this thing home. And if so, it is going to change the way that the University of North Carolina treats its football program, and it is going to change the way that the university as a whole presents its athletic department. And there are going to be some people probably on the faculty and within the university community who don't like that. And then there's going to be some people who have been banging their fists for decades and saying, like, see, it's about time that we woke up and realized that the only way to be successful as a university athletic department is to invest in football and treat it just as seriously as Ohio State does, as Texas does, as Florida does. And that is a big move away from what I've experienced as somebody who grew up in Raleigh, somebody who went to the University of North Carolina and has continued to remain, here in the Triangle, living in Raleigh ever since, and covering college sports since 2009. So I'm fascinated to see what happens next.
I am too. I think this whole thing is going to be a great social experiment. All right, let me before we lose you.
Was all that fair, by the way? I mean, this is all very raw. I'm just. Would you say that that's a fair judgment of the university community and the sort of decisions and the fork in the road that we're at right now?
I think it's 100% fair.
Okay.
You might be the most rational, fair-minded person I speak to on a regular basis. Way more rational and fair-minded than Brinson. I kid. I didn't need to take a shot at Will, did I?
What a compliment.
Oh, my God. That's worse than what I just said. That's more of a shot than what I just said. Oh, man, I love Will Brinson. All right.
Will Brinson.
All right. No, so, yes, I think it's fair. And I think I'm trying to be not negative or positive. I think that I just believe that the future looks nothing at all like the past. And to dismiss it because, well, he's not a college coach, how does it, I just think that people are misreading the past as having anything to do with the future. I don't think we know what the future is going to look like.
Right.
So this, if we took Bill Belichick out of this and we just placed random NFL coach, let's go Kyle Shanahan as opposed to Bill Belichick. I mean, this is maybe who the hires are going to be in the future, right? Maybe they're going to be professional football coaches, NFL coaches who are, I don't want to coach for the 49ers anymore. I want to coach at Cal because it's a training ground. It's more pure coaching. Maybe that's what we're going to be dealing with. I don't know, but
it's cost, and how long are you going to get it? I mean, it's a 72-year-old who turned 73 in the spring. He is 8 months younger.
They got younger.
He is 8 months younger than Mac Brown, and his master plan, manifesto, Bible, the Tar Heel Talmud, as I've been calling it on the Cover 3 podcast.
Did you really use that?
Yes.
That's outstanding.
I wonder, are we going to look back in 5 to 10 years and say that was the moment that North Carolina started taking football seriously? Or are we going to be like, man, that was a very expensive trip to Vegas?
Any reason why you use Talmud and not Torah?
Honestly, I was not the first person to make that joke.
Okay, it's fine. Either way, they both work.
Exactly. They both work. It was the alliteration that I think that drew my attention to it.
By the way, back-to-back days where we've had Judaism on the program. Yesterday we talked about Jake Retzlaff and B.Y. Jew and the Manischewitz deal, which is great.
A real class that I actually did take at the University of North Carolina, Ancient Judaism with Jody Magnus. It was great.
Fantastic. I would have failed that class, by the way.